Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Loon here from Elliott Wave Pro. I'll start with the DAX, DXY, sorry, not the DAX, DXY. I will do the DAX later on. Someone suggested it, wanted me to have a quick look at it, so I'll take a look at the end there. So on DXY, we got a WXYX. I'm looking for this X up here and then the Z down on the daily. Internally, we have a WXYXZ. So we've got internal, we've got an extended wave in wave Y. Last week I was looking for that C up for this X until this low got broken. So now I've had to change account to an extended wave in an extended wave Y. Price can come down to this 161.8 in a wave Y. But I'm not looking for sells. I'm only looking for buys. We're at a low, so like I've been saying for a while now, I'm only looking for the buys. We go down onto the H4. We can see that here's the extended wave in here. So we got the WXYX. We're getting the Z down. We're at the 161.8 in wave Z. We do have the bullish divergence in here. I'm expecting that bullish divergence to hold. So I'm only looking for the buy. It may come down, like I said, it may come down a little bit further to the daily 161.8, which is down here. But yeah, I think it's starting to run out of steam when we look at the H1. H1, we're starting to get internal divergence. So eventually we're going to get a larger correction in here if we're going to get any more downside. Or if we're going to get any more downside, we'll get that larger correction. We'll get the cross up on the MACD on the H1 before we get more downside. Or we just get a reversal from around here somewhere and we'll get that bull flag or bullish correction for more upside. So I'm only looking for this. I'm only looking for the upside. I'm not interested in the sells. AU. I'll go to the daily. AU, we've broken the top. We've broken this top here. So I'm after that larger correction. This is the trend line here on the higher time frame. So I'm looking for the larger correction before I look for more buys. So basically, I'm only looking for sells. If we go to the H4, I've had to change my count because I was looking for the C down. Like I said, I was looking for this as an A, B, and we get a sell here for a C for this X here. It never happened, and we're getting more upside. So I'm looking at it as a W, X, Y, X, and we're in the Z down, Z up, sorry. And internally, if we have a look internally, we're getting look, I was looking for the sell last week in here somewhere for this one here to go. If you did get into this, well, you'd have your stop up here or somewhere, because I wasn't expecting this sharp move. We got this sharp move, and so that's why I've sort of had to change the count. I'm waiting for this DXY to finish, basically, before we get that downside in the AU and in the major crosses. So we got a WXY. I'm looking for the X and then a Z up to finish off this the larger H4 wave Z. I'm looking before we get more downside. So I'm waiting for the bearish divergence before. I mean, you can look for the buy on the, you can look for the buy A, B, C. If you get some sort of an A, B, C breakout and a little flag, you can look for that Z up. You want to be careful because we will start to get that bearish divergence. Myself, I'm only looking for the downside. Looking for an impulse down, lower low, flag or correction in here for that downside. Like I did miss this wave. I did miss this wave, but I never lost money. I wasn't in the sell, and I didn't get the sell set up. So I missed out on this because I've only been looking for the sells. But I'm conserving my capital, and I'll wait for this. I'll wait for this. Whatever happens in here, I'll wait for that, and then I'll make my money. EU daily. Now on the daily, this one's broken the top. So this one's broken the top. Like AU, it broke the top. So on the H4, we're in a wave Y. So we've got a WXY. Well, we're in a Y now, and this is internal. So this is an internal A, B, C in here to finish off this wave Y, and then we'll get the larger correction in the X2 before we get that Z up. So again, we've got bearish divergence. So there's no between this A and the C. So I'm only looking for the sell. I'm only interested in the sell. It's dangerous to be buying. It becomes risky. So like if I'm going to look for the buy, I want the A, B, C down here in the X2 before I get that Z up. I want to buy that Z up. Okay, so pretty much I'm only looking for the sells. If we go onto the H1, again, there's no real sell setup. There's no sell setup on it yet. We're getting bearish internal divergence, but that's about it. Really need to draw a trend line on the lower time frame, break, flag, and then look for the sell to finish this C off. Once this wave C is finished, it could be over here. That C might be over here, and it falls over from here. But like I said, wherever this ends, I want to wait for the impulse down, correction, and I'm only looking for the sells. GU daily. Now this one here hasn't broken the top. Like AU and EU, GU hasn't broken the top. So it's a little bit more complex, this one. I'm looking at, on the daily, at WX, we're in a wave Y or a wave C. And then we'll get an X and a Z. Unless it's a wave C. This could be a wave C yet. So we'll just have to wait on this one. GU's been, out of the majors, GU's been the hardest one to determine what it's been wanting to do. There has been scalps on it, but yeah, they're only pretty much scalps. So at the moment, if we go down to H1 or H4 in here, can draw a trend line in here. So we've got a trend line in here and we're getting a C up. There is bearish divergence on this one. At this stage, there's bearish divergence. So we've got the 100 fib here. Now it can turn into a wave Y. This this divergence here may not give divergence. If we're going to get a wave Y, and this is a wave Y, it could go up to the 161.8, but at this stage it is a wave C up. It can get up to the 100 fib or even to the 123.6. We just have to wait on this one to see what it's going to give. But again, like all the majors and the DXY, I'm waiting for that DXY to finish, and then I'm only looking for the sell on this as well. Haven't really been trading GU at all because it's been quite difficult. Sorry about that, just had to pause the recording for a tick. So on the H1 GU, we got a trend line in here now. So we got a little flat in here for an A, B, C, A, B. We're getting a C up now. We're getting that bearish divergence. So wherever this C ends, wait for the trend line break, little flag, and look for that sell. I'm only interested in the sells, like I've been saying. NU daily. Again, this like the GU, the NU hasn't broken the top. So there is the possibility, with the ones that haven't broken the top, there is the possibility of this bear hidden divergence because the top hadn't been broken. So there is the possibility that this comes down and breaks a low. And it is definitely possible. I'll show you on gold, when I get to gold, how tops and bottoms can be broken when we get that hidden divergence. So we've got the hidden divergence on this one. So you definitely only want to be looking for the sells because this bottom here can be broken. On the H4, we're getting a C up. We're getting bearish divergence. So we're only looking for sells. Wait for the trend line break wherever this ends. Might just start crawling up here and then break. Give us a correction in here. Look for that sell. GY. This one's this one has finally. See, I was looking at this as a hidden divergence. If you go back on my trade view ideas, see this one didn't break this top, and we had bearish hidden divergence here. So I was looking for this bottom here can be broken on this one too. But on the lower time frame, on the H4, I put that idea out, the later one, and it's only finally started to play out. So prices just hit me first target last week in here. So this was my idea, sell this in here. Usually we get an A, B, C, but we got all this in here, which made it really hard. And so it's only just broken. It's only just got to the first target. I never lived through all this. I mean, it's taken ages to play out. I mean, I took this and got out on this wave when it started to come up here. So I got a few pips out of it, but never really got to me target. I didn't hold it to the target because once I started to see this, it could have been an A, B, C in here for more upside. So, but it's finally given us that A, B, C. So we've finally got this C. Like I said on the daily, this can keep on going. This can be a W. This can be a W, X, and Y. We do have the bullish divergence. And the 100 fib, the second target is at the 100 fib here. Will it get there? Well, we don't really know. We do have that bullish divergence. So it's going to be risky to start to, I mean, this was your trade up here. this was your trade for that C down. You don't I mean, if you're starting to look for sells in here, they start to get risky because we do have that bullish divergence. That's not a real straight line, but we're getting that bullish divergence. So if you're going to look for the sells, you're only looking for scalps, and you only want to scalp it a downside. There's no, on H1, there's no real setup to buy. We've got this trend line here. It's a pretty big move down. That moved down last week on all the majors. Yeah, so if you need a big wave up, big impulse, correction up in here, and you'll have to watch out for bear hidden divergence for more downside, even on this one, because it could give you a bear hidden divergence in here. So you're going to have to be careful. Ideally, you want this top to be broken, then the larger correction, and then more upside if you're looking for that buy. Sheffy. Now, Sheffy broke. This one broke the top. This one broke the top, gave us a high. But yet, unlike UY, this one's given a very deep correction, but didn't give the bear hidden. I'm still looking at this as a B wave. Eventually, we will get this A, B, and C up. It's nearly broken the low here. A B wave can break the low. But I'm only looking for the buys. I mean, I can only look for the buys on this. We're at a low, so you can only look for that buy once we get the setup. H4, I'm looking at it as W, X, Y, X, Z. So we're getting the Z down. We're getting bullish divergence in here. So I can draw that trend line in here. So really, we can only wait for the buy setup. There is no buy setup on it at the moment. We need that break, correction, and then look for that buy. I definitely wouldn't be looking for sells. We're at a low. Way too risky to be selling. UCAD, this one on the daily, this one has the potential of bull hidden. So this top can be broken. It's not out of the question because this low hasn't been broken yet. So it's not out of the question that this top gets broken. We have bull hidden divergence here on the daily. H4, we're getting this. We've got a W, X, Y, X. We're getting the Z down. Now, it hasn't broken this low here. I expect this low to be broken. And then we'll get that bullish divergence to look for that, like a trend line break in here. Breakout, correction, and look for that buy. I'm only looking for the buy. And if we go onto the H1, you can see there is a flag in here. I mean, you can take this, well, it's more of a correction in here. But if we look on the H1, we got a like a W, X, Y, X, and we'll probably get that Z down, breaking the low on the H4, and then it'll start to give the divergence on the H1 and the H4. Wait for that trend line break and look for the buy. Like I said, I'm only looking for the buy. I'm not interested in this sell. Gold. I'll show you. I want to show you this gold because this is how the hidden divergence plays out. like we got bullish hidden divergence here. Now in here, no one was thinking that this top would get broken. We got that bullish hidden divergence. So you wouldn't, unless you're looking at hidden divergence, you wouldn't be thinking that this is all the correction. And this top gets broken. So this is how the hidden divergence plays out. When you go through the other, if you go back through all the hidden divergences and that, like this is how it plays out. Now, this top hadn't quite been broken yet. I'm expecting it to get broken. It's very close now, not quite hit it. Now, I was looking for this, even down here, I think I put out a idea for this on TradingView. Now, I was only expecting at this stage, I was looking at WXY just to come up to this 161.8 fib and then give the X and then give the Z up, breaking this high. Instead, it's giving us this wave. We're still in this wave Y, but on the lower time frames, we're waiting for this X. So you're only looking for the sells. We're getting a rather extended wave Y. Like the 200 fibs around here somewhere. We're nearly up to the 250 fib. Usually wave Ys or wave threes only go to the 161.8 and then you get the correction, and then you get the Z up or wave 5. So yeah, again, there's nothing I'm only looking for the sells. Like even this, I was only I think last week I said you can look for that buy, but it's risky. I wasn't expecting it to give such a impulse up here. Because we did have that bearish divergence, and going against the divergence, it becomes risky, the trades. So I missed out on all this. But I wasn't in a sell either, so I'll conserve my capital and I'll wait for that sell and I'll make my money in the sell. So that's what I wanted to mainly show you on gold. There is no sell setup on it. You have to wait for a sell setup. But I wanted to show you the monthly how hidden divergence works, because it'll become important once we get down to this DAX. WTI, now this is starting to get risky. If we have a look at, if I go to the day, again, we got bearish hidden divergence. Now, I'm not expecting this one, because this was so low, it's definitely not out of the question that this does go and break the low again, because we do have the potential of bear hidden divergence until this top gets broken. It's definitely not out of the question. Some platforms went down to $4. This one, the low was was not really important. The low was around, I think it was around, it was actually lower than that. It was around the $8, I think, the low. But on the H4, so it was around the $10 mark, the low. It's starting to get risky. The buys are starting to get risky because we're getting that lot of bearish divergence. So there looks like a buy set up on this, and you could take it but you could only buy just above this top, and you'd be risking that. It's starting to get risky, this, pretty much. I'm staying out of this one at the moment, because I'm only looking for the buys in this, but it's at a high, so I need to wait for the larger correction, see what it does. If it gives us a larger correction, then I'll look for the buy again. But if I get some nice sell setups, I will sell, but there really isn't a sell setup on it at the moment. This, like I said, this can be, like last week, I said you can look for the buy here. We had this, and you could have looked for the buy here, but it comes straight back down. So it's starting to get risky. There is no bearish divergence on it, so you still can look for this buy in here. This is an A, B, C, but like I said, you can it start to become risky because you can only put your buy stop just above the top, let it hit, get triggered, and then look for that buy. But yeah, it's getting, you're not going to get the risk reward, so it becomes risky buying up here. And there really isn't a sell setup on it. I mean, this one here didn't come from a high. This is a high here, so you can't really look at this. I mean, this can be like an A, B, C, and we go A, B, C. So you can put a sell stop on it, and that's probably the better option. If you're still looking for the buys, you can put the buy stop up here or the sell stop. You want to keep tight stops. It's WTI is getting quite risky for the buys. Yeah, the sell stop would be the better trade because we do have that H4 bear divergence, and on the daily we have the possibility of bear hidden divergence. So Bitcoin, I go to the daily. This is a reason why I'm only looking for sells, basically. Here we got bearish hidden divergence. So this bottom here can be broken. It's definitely not out of question. In here on the H4, we got a W, X, Y, X, Z up. I was looking for either larger correction and break this larger correction and more upside, or the bear hidden divergence plays out and we get 5 down. Now, I'm only looking for the sells. I can only look for the sells. This top here hasn't been broken, so I can't look for this, especially up here. It's madness looking for the sells. It's too risky, way too risky for how I trade. So in here, I'm looking at an A, B. I've been looking for this C down for ages. If you've been following my analysis, now this can be a W, X, Y, X, Z down here because we have that bullish divergence, and then, but this here doesn't look sharp to go and break that top, this top here. So it's very risky. I mean, I'd be only looking for the sells. I definitely would only be looking for the sells. I mean, you can scalp the longs, but if you're looking for the buys, you can only really scalp it, because there is no longer term setup on it, so it's only going to be longer term scalps if you're looking for the buys. Now, last week I was looking for this here to be broken, this trend line here to be broken, and never got broken. So I never got the sell. Instead, we got this big move up. Now, this would have been a perfect buy here. We got a nice A, B, C in here. This was your buy. If you took that, you've done really well. That was a nice buy. You should have, if you're watching this particular cross, you definitely wanted to be on in that buy because it gave a nice buy setup. But yeah, I'm up here. We're getting internal bearish divergence. So I'm only looking. This is probably not over. Wherever this B wave ends, I'm only looking for the sells. I'll go over SPX 500. It's pretty much the same as the DAX, sorry, DAX. So if we go to the daily, now on the daily, this shouldn't be on here. So on the daily, we got the potential of bear hidden divergence. So it's definitely not out of the question that this low gets broken. This can be an A, some sort of A, B, and then so we get an A, B, and this can, the B wave can even break this top, and then we go down for the C. There won't be bear hidden divergence if this top gets broken, but it still can be a B wave. So that's how I'm looking at on the daily. On the H4, we got this sharp move down. We got a sharp move down in wave A, then another sharp move. This is really corrective. So I'm looking at it as a WXY. Now, two things can happen here. This, we only get the wave Y up and wave B is over here. Or we get an X, a similar choppy wave like this in X2, and then we get the Z up finishing off the wave B. So either way, I'm only looking for sells. So I got into a sell up here somewhere, but we either get this C down, this C down, or it's just going to be an X wave and we get the Z up. Or on the H1, this can be the end of the move altogether and this goes down and breaks the low. I don't think it will. This is because this top here has been broken, so I am looking at this as an A, B, C as a running or expanding flat, and then we get that more upside. If we have a look on the lower time frame chart, I only want to be looking for the sell. On the H1, so I got into a sell up here. I got into a sell up here on this, but we've broken the trend line now. We've broken this H4 trend line. So I'm expecting, if you get any sell setups in here, this could be an A, B, C for running or expanding flat in here. If you get this wave up here, look for the sells. Want that crossover on the MACD. Look for that sell. Any sell setups you get, whatever it is, we don't know what sort of correction it's going to be or flag or anything, but whatever sell setup you get, look for the sells. Yeah. And for example, on the H4, like your target, the H4 100 fib is here. So this would be your first target. If this is over and the B is over here, and it just comes to this trend line, because this is a trend line. It just comes to this trend line and then gives a move up correction. I'll be getting out of my sell in this correction here, and then look for that buy for Z up. But if you're in the sell in here, wherever you get in, and it breaks through this trend line, well, there's your target there. So, and here's your second target, the 123.6, and first target, the 100 fib. You definitely want to be looking for the sell. Now, like I said, we don't know if it's going to be get that Z up. It's definitely possible that we get that Z up, but I mean, you can look for that Z up buy, but it's going to give you more divergence. Like it'll give you divergence. So if we get the Z up, it'll be nice, and then we'll get that sell, the larger sell for that. I'm looking to trade this, at least this A wave. So I'm looking for a sharp move down. So I'm only looking for sells. The DAX, I'll go to the H1. Someone requested me to do the DAX. So it's pretty much the same as SPX or S&P, whichever you call it. we have bear hidden divergence. So this low to be broken definitely isn't out of the question. It definitely can be broken. Just like we've seen on gold. No one was looking for this up here. No one's looking for this low to be broken unless you're looking at that bear hidden divergence. Like gold at the bottom, no one was looking for that top to be broken on gold. But if we have a look at the monthly, that's what's just about happening. So it's very close to be breaking that top. Same is true with the DAX. This low here can be broken. So you definitely don't want to be looking for sells, buys up here. You definitely don't want to be looking for buys. You're only looking for sells. If we go down onto H4, it's pretty much the same as SPX. We got an A, B. Look for that C down. Look for the C. Now, we've got an impulse down. So if you get any little flag, correction, look for the sell. The first target on this one will be, I think, is this right? Yep. So the first target will be the 100 fib. Your second target is like the 123.6. I am expecting this is just an A, B, C, because this doesn't look impulsive. Like this doesn't look really impulsive, but it can be. This is where it gets confusing because this can be a contracting flat here for an A, B, C in here, and this breaks the top and finishes the move off. So it can fall over from here too, and give us a larger correction, or even like a larger correction, or even break the low, that daily low. So while we're up here, you definitely want to be looking for the sell. You only want to be looking for the sell. You got a sell on the H1 last week. There was a nice sell on it. It wasn't a real nice sell, but there was a sell set up on it. Because if we have a look here, we've got a W, X, Y. So we probably get an X and then a Z. If you trade this Z down, if you get a correction like this one, or similar, or a correction, you're going to have to be careful because this one can be just the Z down, then we get a larger correction, and then more downside. Or that is the end of the wave. That's the wave B on H4, and then we break the top. So this one, you'll have to be a little bit more careful. When I look at trading currencies or anything, whatever I'm trading, if I'm looking to trade indices, I'll go through all the indices and I'll look. Usually I just trade SPX and the AU 200. But if you're looking to trade indices, you go through and you look for the best setup. What's the biggest mover? Because we trade to make money. So, and out of the two, because if we have a look on SPX has already broken the trend line, and it's giving us, we got bearish divergence, we got a lower low, wait for the correction, and we'll get that down. And this, on SPX, S&P, it's just one move down. Whereas if we have a look at the DAX, it's we've got three waves down already. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got a WXY in here. So more than likely get a X2 and Z down, then may get a larger correction and more downside, or you get a trend line break, correction, and goes and breaks the top for that ABC, for the ABC on the H4. So you got an A, B, and C, and then goes and breaks the top. So yeah, either way, whatever you trade, look for the C down. You're looking for that H4C down. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. This is probably going to be a little bit longer one, but yeah, trade safe, enjoy your week, and I'll see you out there next week. Bye.